Hello, it's Mike Rhyner of Your Dark Companion here, wanting to thank you all for joining us on patreon.com throughout the year, or that portion of the year that we've been doing this. Also, don't forget to check out the Sunset Lounge. There you can find podcasts such as The Clubhouse. The Clubhouse is your one-stop shop for all things sports, pop culture, entertainment, pro wrestling. Who knows what else these guys might get into. I love these guys. They're great. Since 2010, they brought their knowledge and passion for these subjects and so much more to the internet in a way that is entertaining and engaging. Their show is family friendly, so it's okay to sit down with grandma and be a part of all their shenanigans. They are the Clubhouse. They're at the Sunset Lounge.
Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk.
Baseball, 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 baseball. Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We got a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off sale.
This is a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
Hey, y'all. It's another episode of Your Dark Companion. Yes, indeed it is. We are here for you today. Hope you're doing all right. I would be Mike Rhyner, joined by Shoopy, Ashley, Becca, here inside the nurturing biosphere of the mothership, all queued up and ready to roll on episode 125.
Ooh.
Can you believe that, Shoopy?
It's a big number, Shoopy.
It is big and getting bigger. That's how many of these things we have turned out. Today is Wednesday, the 11th of June. It's a little bit on the damp side
Moist
here
even.
in the D today. And it's going to be kind of hot and real steamy. And if the sun comes out later today, it's going to really screw this whole afternoon up, which it probably will. But that's for later. For right now, we got YDC coming your way, baby. Today, we're joined by Mike Keeting. Mike Keeting of GIVINGMAS. Thank you very much for being here with us today.
I'm honored and pleased.
First of all, I want to get into a little bit of your background, but just so everybody will know what we're talking about here, and this includes me. Tell me about what GIVINGMAS is.
In a nutshell, we change lives, family lives. You know, you see we don't deal with children. We deal with parents, and we ask parents who are struggling, who are trying to make themselves stand on their own, but just need a little help. And so we will ask them, what's hindering you? And maybe they've got some warrants, maybe they need a driver's license, maybe their credit is so poor they can't move on. But they're trying, they're working, they're doing things to support the family, and we come in and try to knock some of those hurdles down.
Do you actually see evidence of them working, or do you ever run into situations where people tell you we're working, and then as you look around, you find out that, no, you're really not?
No, because we have a process that you go through a nomination committee.
Yeah.
So families are nominated, and then our nomination committee kind of vets them out and figures out. And
Who does the nominating?
many nonprofit organizations, VFW, Exodus Ministries, Family Gateway, and then employers can have it for one of their employees. They can nominate one, or you can self-nominate.
Yeah. Now, this is a realm that I'm completely unfamiliar with, so stupid questions are probably going to abound here today.
I'll try not to have stupid answers.
I trust you not to have stupid answers. I'm just going to try and ease up on the stupidity of the questions, but like I say, this is an area that I'm not at all familiar with. In fact, GIVINGMAS is an organization that stands on its own, right?
That is correct.
Okay, now I always thought that organizations like this were offshoots of some larger business.
No. It's a very grassrooted organization.
He gave me a look that says, "Oh boy, you were sadly mistaken."
You have much to learn, Shoopy.
No, it's totally grassroots, and really, it's the Lakewood neighborhood that created GIVINGMAS.
How long's it been going?
Officially, as a 501c3, this is coming into our 8th year. But from the very beginning of the first event, that wasn't a GIVINGMAS event, but was the foundation. It's been about 11 years, or going on 11.
Was this your idea?
It was.
All right.
It was, it grew on. It wasn't this, I woke up one morning and said, hey, this is what we should do. Over the years of it beginning, it started out as it was just the traditional, we're going to help a family, we're going to buy them turkeys and make their Thanksgiving, and then we'd get a list. I would get a list of some family and buy shoes and all that kind of stuff. But a couple of people found out what I was doing, and, the very first one was I took on a family from Goodwill, and they faxed over the profile of the family, and one of the admin people where I was working got the fax first, and she was reading it, and she asked me, what are you doing? And I just said, no, it's no big deal. It's just something I do for Christmas. And 2 days later, she comes around, and she hands me an envelope with a couple $100 in it, and she had went around and collected from all the coworkers and stuff.
So this was something you were just doing on your own?
Not at this scale, but it was, I was doing the traditional.
At the start.
Correct.
Okay. What kind of business are you or were you in at that time?
At that time, I was working at Sparkman Hillcrest doing prearranged funerals and cemeteries.
An undertaker?
I dealt with the living.
But did you make a killing?
Oh.
LOL.
Okay.
That's why I'm
Already
here.
off the rails here, shooting.
All right, we'll bring it back.
Yeah, that was pretty clever, though. I got it.
So you were doing this, and you ran into somebody that needed a little help. You decided to take it on yourself. Was the idea to keep this secret, or just not let anybody know?
Yeah, I mean,
you just doing it because you wanted to be a good guy?
She actually hands me the envelope with some money, and then that night I'm having a beverage with one of my good friends, and I told him, yeah, I work at this place. It's pretty cool, and this is what they did. And he says, well, how come you haven't told us what you're doing? I said, because it's not that. It's, it's just something I do. I've been doing it for 10, 15 years. And he says, well, we're having our Christmas party. Why don't we turn it into a fundraiser? So we raised another $300-400. So now we're up to about, with my contribution and everything, we got $800 to pick this family, and we totally made their Christmas. Well, so many people heard about it. The next year, they wanted to have a bigger party, and we couldn't do it in his backyard. So we had an event at Cosmos. And did you? Wow.
Nice.
Wow, then you've really seen it from, wow. And raised about $1,600. And when we started to get to that point, the people started asking, why are we just helping one family? And I had to look inside and said, why are we just helping one family? And then the universe or God or something within me said, why are you making a day better? Why don't you make lives better? And so instead of going in and making a Christmas real good for a kid, and then the next year it's not so good, so he didn't know what he or she did wrong. Mm-hmm. They did something. Thought let's work on changing the life, not changing the day.
This all seems very, very organic.
100% organic, totally organic. That first event at Cosmos, we were it was pretty much, there's a local social group called the Lakewood Happy Hour group that really kind of adopted Giving Moss as their little social support, and they took it. And that's when I thought, we're on to something here.
Yeah.
And we don't, we don't change hundreds of lives a year. We change 3 to 6, because we'll work with them for 6 months to 2 years, depending on what their hurdles are and how they're going and stuff. So, but that's it. And we can see the evidence that really has changed lives versus taking a nice turkey.
Do people come to you with a story of how they wish they would like for you to help them? Or do you find this stuff out on your own, or how do you figure out who to work with?
Well, like I say, people will nominate them. We have some criteria. Somebody has to be working.
Yeah,
they have to be trying to help themselves get out of it, and so an organization will nominate somebody, and we'll know right away. If we don't do anything medical, we don't do stuff. If we can't really change the life, then we're not. It's not our niche, so to speak. There's other organizations to take care of that stuff. We're not going to come in and help you pay your rent for 6 months and do that. It's very collaborative, and when we pick a family, they got to be working, they got to do this, and we'll ask their hurdles. And, inevitably, the most common first request is, can you help me get my car fixed?
Yeah.
And we will say, well, probably, but we got 2 questions first. Do you have a driver's license, and do you have insurance? If you say no to either one of those, let's fix that first.
Yeah.
Let's get you, make sure you're driving legally, make sure that you're not, doing every stuff. And it's, like I say, it's collaborative. So we work with them, we work with their budgets, we work with everything that they're bringing in. We go through an extensive, here's your income, here's your bills, here's your this stuff. And they'll say, well, I don't have insurance because I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And we'll say, all right, well, we've got experts that will research and get the best insurance deal we can find for them. And then by understanding what their economic situation is, we may say, all right, your insurance is $100 a month. For now, Giving Moss is going to pay $75, you're going to pay $25. If you stop paying your $25, we stop paying the $75.
So this is no Queen for a Day deal or anything like that.
No, there's pride in joining or feeling like you're participating in your moving, and there's also discipline in it, so that when it comes down the road, and you have to start paying your own insurance, you gradually kind of worked into it, and you can do it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have always really loved about Giving Moss as a foundation from the very first night at Cosmos was that there was just a lot of integrity. We're not just handing out money. I believe you still have situations where, okay, they need a little help. We've got a family that needs some help with food, but you give them an actual gift card to Kroger. You're not going to give them cash. You'll help them by working along with them and whomever the end vendor is to make sure that the specific thing is getting done, not that you're handing them money. This is how much it's going to cost to get my car fixed, and you just give it to them. You give them stability, but like you said, your partner's in it. You don't just hand them cash and hope they used it for what they said they needed it for.
We have never given a family $1. We will help pay their bills. If their car breaks down, we will help cover that or get some stuff. But we have never handed out anybody a cash kind of contribution. And the program you're talking about was actually kind of a side note that happened during COVID, when all the wait staff and retail people and everything were getting laid off. We collaborated or joined forces with Tom Thumb and their Nourishing Neighbors program. And we raised $10,000 and they donated $10,000. And we bought gift cards, restaurant gift cards. And then we had people nominate people to say, okay, I want to nominate this waitress or this person or that kind of stuff. And trying to stick with the Giving Moss philosophy beyond this Giving Moss grocery thing that we set up. We took that list of those people, and instead of just giving them a $500 card or we sent them a $100 gift card to Tom Thumb every month for 4 months to kind of make it last. And so we've kind of continued that. That's where you're talking about. Now, if we get a family that, we can't do the long-term life-changing kind of thing, we will send them a gift card or help them get one. And then at Christmas, we will go around to like Restored Hope and Restoration and Family Gateway, and we will just randomly, we'll give all the residents a $100 gift card.
When you say the long-term, life-changing kind of thing, what all does that entail? Or what would that entail? You said you don't do that, so tell us what you don't do.
What we don't do is if we can't do a life-changing thing, like if you need rent subsidies for the next 2 years, we can't do that.
Yeah.
If you've got medical issues that are either financially putting you in a bind or making it incapable for you to do things, there's not much we can do to help that. We're not cold-blooded, and if we feel and we wish we could, but that's just our niche. We have to have restrictions. You got to and it's very, very important to me that the dollars contributed are spent wisely. So if we've got life-changing events, and if you don't keep up to them, then we stop. We really, people ask, what's your success rate? Well, our success rate is really 100% because we don't quit until they do.
Yeah. So
it's kind of bad. But I'll tell you, if you want to hear a life-changing event, I'll give you a kind of a fun one.
Yeah.
We're always up for a little fun.
Mm-hmm. We had a family that we called them the Bradys, because they were married and they each had a bundle of kids, and then they created some of their kids and they did this stuff. And he was 37 years, dad was 37 years old, never had a driver's license. And the reason he was in Family Gateway was because he was doing some lawn work and somebody hit him and ran and told him, but he got in trouble because he didn't have a driver's license and stuff. So Family Gateway's program was you have to get a job while you're here. And he was washing dishes at a restaurant downtown, and that's how we found him. So we, like I said, we asked, do you have a driver's license? Do you have insurance? He said no, and the reason he couldn't even get a driver's license is because he had like 7 warrants out for him, and all for driving without a license kind of thing. So we got that cleared up. Then we got him insurance, and then he's got this proud picture of him holding his first ever driver's license. About 6 months later, maybe 3 months later, he gets pulled over and he gets a speeding ticket. And he has to tell me, he's going, and I'm like, Zeke, do you know the ripple effect of this, of what it's going to do to your insurance now and what it's going to do? And he recognized it, and he felt bad, and he made a mistake, but he just had this kind of little confident grin or just smile on him. And I said, see, this is really kind of important stuff to get you where you want to go. And he says, I know, Mike, but it was the first time in my life that I got pulled over and I knew I wasn't going to get arrested.
That's something.
That's something.
That's changing a life.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's something big.
Yeah. So,
But I love the way you do things where they do have to take ownership of it. They have to, like you said, it might be a 75-25 thing or whatever, but there's flesh in the game, as Shoopy likes to say, where they really have to understand that it's not just a cash handout and buy. It's like you're checking in, you're making sure they check in. I really love that way of doing things. I don't know how unusual that is for a charity type situation, but I think that's a really cool way of doing it.
I can't speak of other charities. I can only speak of our own. I don't know.
Well, I think there are a lot of instances, though, that we've seen in the past, and I'm sure currently it's happening, where you see something that starts grassroots, then gets huge, and they're known nationally, maybe internationally, and then you find out 90% of the money you're working hard to raise for them, or you're donating to them yourself, that is going to the director, or it's going to.
I can assure you, it's not in this case.
But that's what I love as a supporter, is that I know that my money is getting used properly. It's being. I can't think of the word that I want, but you have the integrity in the foundation that people want when they say, I'm going to give my hard-earned money, because I do want to help people who don't have that, but I want to know that that's where it's going.
Yeah, you got to have a little accountability to those who, help you do what you do, right?
That's extremely important.
Yeah. But it comes from him holding the end person accountable. And that seeing that and knowing that, and my watching that, coming to the events and meeting these families, knowing these people, the families that become volunteers and help other families, like all of that.
That's the long-term goal, yeah.
Yeah, and it makes a difference when you're writing the check or giving that money over. It makes a difference.
I'll tell your friends.
So do you ever reach the end game? I guess the ideal end game is where you help somebody, they get their scene turned around, and they become able to manage it themselves without any further help from you. Is that
that's the goal? That's the ultimate goal? Absolutely.
Is that the goal that is frequently reached?
Yeah. Because if they're not getting there, then they've essentially stopped.
Yeah.
So we stop. But we've got numerous examples of the family I just talked about. We ended up getting him an interview. We like to say, I have to make sure I don't say we got him a job. We get him interviews. Mm-hmm. And, he also got his first full-time job with vacation benefits and health benefits and all that. And that was 6 years ago. Still there. Family's still flourishing. They're doing. Then we've got. That's the ultimate goal. We've got families that. Yeah, they're on their own now, but they're on their own because they got there, not because we had to stop.
Yeah.
And that's the good part.
Yeah.
That's the.
Have there been difficult cases where you try and things just don't connect?
Absolutely. And it hurts. It hurts when you're doing stuff and you're helping them and doing, I tell you, one family we had a couple of years ago, she had just moved here from Florida. She wanted to get her kids out of the neighborhoods that they were growing up in Tampa Bay and blah, blah, blah. She didn't have a driver's license because she had warrants. She had some student loans. She couldn't go back to school because she had to get some student loans, and her credit was terrible. Well, we took care of her warrants. GIVINGMAS is taking care of in warrants in 5 states, and I can't tell you how many counties in Dallas, by helping them get out of things so they could get their driver's license back, or they could do kind of that stuff.
I got a couple of outstanding tickets. Can you help me?
I was going to say, he's got at least one that I'm aware of.
I can
Bergen County, New Jersey.
I'm not paying 10% of it.
I don't think you would take ownership in this, though.
Paying 10% of it.
I'm joking.
Yes.
I really don't. I'm clean as a whistle these days.
These days.
Bergen County, New Jersey is blown over. I'm sorry, you tell us a story and I just knocked your wheels off.
Is that an old ticket stick? Because I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, that's stick.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
I mean, it did happen, but it's shtick. He did have a warrant out for his arrest for a time.
Well, no, I didn't.
It wasn't.
It was not me.
Well,
It was a case of mistaken identity. in Bergen County, New Jersey, to which I had never been. And even now I've been only once, and that was for the Super Bowl.
Was it another Mike Rhyner?
No, the cop got my name off a bludgeon some way with somebody with the same initials or some such, and he thought that I must be that guy. And
So it was
not
Grego,
that guy.
obviously.
It was, what was the name of the guy? Like Marcos Rodriguez
Mario
Hernandez?
Hernandez Rodriguez
Yeah.
or something like that.
It's not even close.
No.
But they both have MHR initials. He's Michael
That's it.
Howard Rhyner, and
Yeah.
Wow.
so what? You spent a night in the clink, right?
Yes. Yeah, I had my old man come down and get me out the next day.
Why have I never actually heard this story?
He's told it a couple times.
I knew you spent the night in the clink,
It's obscure.
but like you've never told me why you spent a night in the clink.
It's an old story. Nobody cares.
I do.
I do too.
Okay, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny that when you called your dad, what was his response? Have you ever been to New Jersey? And you said no.
Yeah.
He said, all right, don't worry about it. We'll get you out tomorrow.
Yeah, it was really late at night, and I got stopped for speeding. And I thought, okay, there's going to be a ticket. The guy's gonna shake me down here. I was not holding anything or nothing like that. I had not been drinking. This was just a cut and dried speeding ticket case, so I thought. And he comes up and tells me, get out of the car and hold out your hands. And he cuffed me, or put them behind your back. And he cuffed me and shoved me into his car. And I said, where are you taking me? He says, I'm taking you to jail. You're under arrest. I said, for what? He said, buying, possessing, and receiving stolen goods in Bergen County, New Jersey. And I said, but I've never been to New Jersey. He didn't want to hear it. So my one phone call was to my dad. I got him out of bed at 2:30 in the morning or some such. And that's what he said. Have you ever been to New Jersey? And I said, no, I've never been to New Jersey. You know that. And he said, all right, just stay down there and we'll get you out in the morning here.
How old were you?
I was probably, I don't know, 21, 22, something like that.
Okay, so this was way before radio days.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Way before that.
That makes me happy every time.
It's such a random thing.
I got to tell you, that's the last story I thought I was going to be telling here today.
Sometimes things work out.
Sometimes they do. All right, this is Mike Keeting of GIVINGMAS, and we'll have more with Mike in just a second here. But first, let me ask you, are you in pain? Because I am these days. I'm in lots of pain. I would like to free myself of pain. Would you like to free yourself of pain? Well, what if I told you you could do that? Pain, anxiety, sleepless nights, whatever's going on here. What if you could do that naturally? Well, the CBD House of Healing, which is a women-owned CBD boutique, can help, and they would like to help. They carry only products from their lab made to meet the highest quality and purity standards. Their owner, who is also an RN, emphasizes building trusted relationships through education and giving you the knowledge to care for yourself. That's their ultimate goal. Find your relief from the aches and pains of this world, the emotional stress and drain, and sleep again. And the CBD...
House of Healing.
Yeah, the CBD House of Healing.
Nailed it.
Begin your healing at the House of Healing. Go to cbdhouseofhealing.com or cbddallas.com. They're at 8550 Plano Road, Suite 101. That's in the northeast quadrant of Plano Road and Northwest Highway. Begin your healing at the House of Healing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Oh, one more? Yeah. All right, go to ridersbaseball.com/specials and use code Let's Ride 25 to access your ticket to Rough Riders Baseball. With that code, tickets will be preloaded with $6 for concessions. And you'll be able to spot us in the lazy river, the stands, maybe just wandering in the crowd. That's every Thursday home game, Thirsty Thursdays. Quench your thirst on Thirsty Thursdays with YDC and the Sunset Lounge. All right.
That's later.
Is that enough? Okay, that's later. Okay, good. God, I hate doing those.
No, you don't. You love it. Yeah.
Look at that. Mike thought it was funny.
We all do too.
I got a radio background.
Yeah, that's right. We need to get into that too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. One of my very first out of junior college, well, actually, my very first out of junior college job was selling radio airtime.
Oh, really?
And from there, I was a sales manager for stations in South Dakota.
All right. So you know a little bit about this sort of thing, do you?
A little bit. That was a long time ago. Things have changed, obviously. But
would you say your time in that business was a success?
yeah, I learned a lot. It probably would have lasted longer if I wasn't so young. And
How old were you?
that time I was probably about 22, 23.
Okay. Yeah, we had a few salespeople who were spry, young, highly motivated self-starters like that.
Yeah. I was in it until about 25, 26, and become the sales manager and did some things. And then our general manager decided to fraternize with one of our salespeople, and that kind of broke up the station a little bit.
Kind of blew the vibe for everybody.
man.
huh?
Kind of. And then, so.
Hey, stuff happens in this world, man. All right, so let's get back into Giving Moss. Where do you see this going?
The long-term goal, unfortunately, is to create kind of a cookie-cutter opportunity, so that in maybe a city or another group like a Rotary Club or a Kiwanis or somebody might say, well, let's take this Giving Moss philosophy and let's adopt one family. And they can do that. And so maybe someone in Lexington, Kentucky can take the philosophy, we can show them the handbook and say, here, how to raise the money, what you're going to do, and how to mentor them. And that's the ultimate long term. But the real thing is just do what we can as long as we can.
Yeah, just deal with the day-to-day of what you've got going right now.
Yeah.
It's good work you're doing, man.
Well, thank you.
It is really good work you're doing.
I get too much credit. It's not me. It's a lot of people.
Well, when I say you, I mean that's the royal you there.
Okay. Well, thank you.
How many do you have working with you or for you?
We have no employees.
Okay.
We've got a couple of people that receive a small stipend. And we went from a board of directors of 3 to a board of directors of 7 in the last 7 months. And we've got a new president, Karen Kresge Hartman, who everybody knows. And she's ready to take it to the next level. And we've got about, I would say, in and out, around 20, 25 people who volunteer at different times and do stuff. So.
And you've been involved in it for how long?
Since day one.
Which would be how long?
11 years.
Okay.
But again, the first 2 or 3 were not.
You still enjoy it?
How could you not?
Get to make lives better.
Yeah. Every day we get to know that we did something that did something good for someone.
Yeah, but I mean, even something that you enjoy, there's always a few days in there where you...
More than a few.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed what I did. Yeah. I mean, I always said that I didn't have to go to work. I got to go to work.
Yeah, amen.
And I enjoyed it to the fullest throughout my time in the game. But... like everything else, there are ups and downs there. And I'm sure there's there's got to be a few of those with this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing that doesn't have a challenge. If there was, everybody'd do it. some of the wisest advice I ever got was one of my mentor who changed my life, helped change my life, was she said, Mike, you can't enjoy the peaks if you don't walk through the valleys. And so, are there frustrating days? Absolutely. But that's a valley that you start a new peak.
What causes a frustrating day in your game?
Raising money, organizing and keeping, the newsletter up to date, and reaching out and trying to expand everything. And there's some disappointments when a family will, darn it,
Yeah.
when
things
we
don't
laid
go-
it out for you and you didn't take it. Yeah.
Yeah. When things don't go like you hope.
That becomes, and so because you've invested the donor's money and the organization's time. But like I said, we would rather cut something short than waste donors' money.
Yeah. Now, who are the donors to GIVINGMAS?
Well, I believe you were at one time.
We're not talking about me. We're talking about others.
It's just a real blessing of hundreds of people, if not thousands, that come to our events. We have generally 2 fundraising events a year, and then we've been fortunate. We've had some very philanthropic people that have made a major contribution that have kept us alive. But like I said, we've had some partnerships with Tom Thumb, with Comerica Bank, with
That's big.
yeah, we've had it. It's been very grassroots, but starting to get noticed by some of the big things. And I think part of it is also, as Becca was saying earlier, we're not top heavy, and we are an open book. I mean, I turned my phone off, so I can't show you now, but I'll share our bank accounts with you with any moment. And we do things kind of, let's say somebody makes a donation, and if they don't designate it, it goes to the families. But if they know that there are costs in running an organization, you've got to pay the websites and you've got to take the maintenance, that kind of stuff, they may say, I want $30 to go to operations, $70 to go to family.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of very benevolent people that have said, here's a good chunk, or a reasonable chunk, a good chunk, that goes for your operations, because we know you can't keep doing this. I mean, when it first started out, I was paying the website, and I was paying all the other stuff and all that. And thank God one of them came right up and said, you can't sustain this. You've got to. So here's some operation funds. But that's, very much, the family side will always be the dominant side.
Yeah. Well, it is good work you're doing, man.
Thank
It
you.
is good work you guys are doing. And it has been a pleasure talking to you here on Little YDC today. Thank you for coming in.
I am very grateful for the opportunity.
I would like to hear about anything you have coming up. I know December is your next big fundraiser, and
Yeah, our annual event is generally the first Thursday in December, and the final things of those will be announced here pretty quick, and you've been to a couple of them. We're looking at making it a little bit, making it bigger and a different kind of vibe, I think, this time. So keep with that. That's usually the first Thursday in December. And then as part of our community and also teaching families or helping them, GIVINGMAS has adopted a section of White Rock Lake. And this Saturday, if you show up at 8:30 on Emerald Isle and Loeffler, we'll be there for an hour. And actually 3 of our families with their children and everything will be out there helping clean up the lake. And we do that every second Saturday of the month.
All right. Check it out.
Yeah.
All right, that is another episode of Your Dark Companion here for you today. Why don't you turn that a little bit and get us to the start of this thing?
Turn his knob.
No, other way. Other way.
Slower. Faster.
All right, I've got something else I got to tell you here. All right, remember, you can find all our episodes on our Patreon page. You can also find us on YouTube and Spotify. So listen, follow, share us on your social media. That means everything to those of us who swim in the shallow waters of the podcast. And while we're at it, if you're feeling what we're throwing down here, how about a nice review? If you're by the channel on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can help others find us by leaving a review. So do that for us. We'll keep doing this for you.
And look up Giving Moss. GivingMoss.org, is that correct?
Yes, GivingMoss.org is what you need to, where you need to go to find out more about their organization and what you can do for them. Also, we have another episode of the OG coming up tomorrow. This is Wednesday. That'll be Thursday, the 12th of June, right?
Yes.
Okay.
At Birdie's East.
Yes, it'll be at Birdie's East Side. Grego will be there. Shoopy will be there. I will be there. The OG is a quick little 30-minute knockdown, drag out, sticking to sports and only sports. There is no all that implies to this. This is sports and only sports. We had an emergency, one of these things just, last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Turn Simeon around.
And we started talking about how the Rangers were not hitting, and the very next day, Marcus Simeon got hot. He remains hot, and things are getting better for the little Rangers. And does that have anything to do with the OG?
Yes.
We think yes.
Indeed.
We think it has everything to do with it. So check us out tomorrow, the OG at Birdie's East Side. If you'd like to come and watch it live, you can. And if not, it's at 11 o'clock tomorrow, 11 in the morning tomorrow. So you have to get going and get up there and come see us with the OG, Grego and Shoopy and me. But this has been Little YDC. Thank you to Mike Keating of Giving Moss. And thank you out there for being by the channel. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.
All right. I'm gonna go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.